dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. Coming up on 5 o'clock, Brandon Robinson here on this Friday, January the 24th. Will be along shortly. Let's take a look at that forecast to get you into the newscast this morning. We take a look at live pinpoint Doppler radar and you see a lot of rain coming down across the region. We're going to continue to see that trend as we head through the morning hours there. Some heavy bands of rain at times, so just be careful as you head out this morning. We go over to the WYMT studio camera and things are fairly quiet. No major issues this morning as we head out except for the rain, so slow it down, take it easy. Temperatures in the 40s area-wide from 41 down toward Somerset to around 47 up toward Pikeville and Prestonsburg, and we'll also continue to see temperatures stay pretty steady for most of the daytime hours. We're going to continue to see that, and you'll see there 52 by this afternoon. It's going to be a soggy day ahead, so again, just kind of keep that in mind as we head through the rest of the daytime hours, and we'll talk about more of that forecast here in a little bit. Over to news headlines right now. Police are asking for help from the public to find a missing girl in Tennessee. This is Lucy Lucas. The Tennessee 12-year-old went missing in Chattanooga. Investigators issued an Amber Alert. Anyone with any information is asked to call TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. One Corbin family is in need of a new wheelchair-accessible vehicle for their family. Abby is a 9-year-old girl who struggles with lifelong effects of shaken baby syndrome. Not only does she suffer daily seizures and cerebral palsy, she's already had a stroke. Her family say while they're thankful she continues to grow, and as she gets bigger, it's going to become nearly impossible to lift her in and out of their SUV. The biggest blessing, they say, would be able to get a wheelchair-accessible vehicle, but it's something they cannot afford at the moment.
But also to be able to do all of our adventures that we want to do. It would just be such a blessing.
If you would like to donate, you can reach out to Mary Barnett on Facebook for details. The past 2 weeks, many school districts have opted for a long weekend. The choice for some comes easy as attendance rates continue to drop due to sickness. For Clay County, it's the second 4-day weekend in a row, and one parent tells WYMT's Will Puckett she could not be happier.
Patricia Oliver's house is full.
5.
All of them attend a school in Clay County. And when the temperatures drop, Patricia starts to worry about them getting sick.
The flu in general. All of them is bad, but the flu.
For Patricia, it is not as easy as give them medicine and send them to bed.
Parents ain't just dealing with this sickness. We're dealing with attendance because when they miss, they give them 3 to 4 days out with the flu. Sometimes they're a week down with that flu.
2 of her kids are fighting against more than just the common cold. Her 13-year-old Zach has epilepsy.
When I catch what he has, I will have to go to the hospital. I will have to stay in there for about 5 days, normally that.
A trip to the hospital takes a toll on her family. That's why cleanings at schools like this are incredibly important.
Then you're going to the pharmacy and you're getting the Clorox and the wipes, and you're on your way back to the house with a Lysol, hoping to keep everybody else from getting it. Then you're up all night, administer medicine. It's a process.
A process that for Zach could be the difference between being a typical 13-year-old.
My head's always killing me because of the seizures. My body's weaker and...
or being down for days.
Clay County schools are expected to be back in session on Monday, the 27th. Last night, people in Pikeville gathered at the Appalachian Wireless Arena for a forum about a addiction recovery center coming to town. Many are concerned about the news of Edgewater Recovery moving into a house in the Cedar Creek area. Concerned about safety, what type of people to bring and will bring in, and if more drugs will hit the streets. CEO John David Elam is trying to assure people he has all safety precautions in place.
I just do not think it is a good thing to put where you all are asking to put it. Do we need these facilities? Yes, Pike County needs them. We just don't need them in Cedar Creek. Thank you.
I understand their concerns. I'm not here to try to cause any kind of controversy. I certainly understand their fears and their concerns.
Elam says he has security cameras and has not had issues at his facility in Rowan County for the 2 years that it has been open. Last night, the Lexington Herald-Leader reported that Black Jewel LLC and Revelation Energy have failed to make progress on scores of environmental obligations. That could leave Kentucky taxpayers on the hook for tens of millions of dollars in reclamation costs. Filings in federal bankruptcy court show that Black Jewel's violations alone account for 30% of all outstanding noncompliance notices sent by the Kentucky Department of Natural Resources as of December 31st last year. In bankruptcy court, state officials warned the company had made little or no progress in addressing those violations. More than 2/3 of Kentucky counties have now passed resolutions supporting the Second Amendment. Kentucky United Now says at least 88 counties statewide have passed a resolution. Leaders in Laurel and Whitley counties are among the latest to declare themselves a Second Amendment sanctuary. The resolutions express opposition to gun regulations. A bill is heading to the Kentucky House of Representatives to require photo IDs to vote. It passed the Senate yesterday along party lines, while in the Senate committee, amendments were added to allow people without a photo ID to use other forms of identification to vote. That would include a debit or credit card or social security card. Appalachia is a place made up of stories, many of those stories told on front porches. That's why the Appalachian Center for the Arts is working with the Pike County Extension Office and Appalachia Book Company on a new project. Porch Talkin' gives locals a chance to share their favorite stories and talk about the region, culminating in a storytelling showcase to put those stories in the spotlight.
Just sitting around and telling stories, and we want to raise the profile of all those stories in the region.
The first of those workshops was last night at the Pike County Fine Arts Extension Office. Storytellers will meet to talk and plan for the next 4 weeks with a chance to tell their stories to the public at the showcase on February 18th. Thanks for getting your day started with us right here on Mountain News this morning. Coming up, we told you earlier this week that the Kentucky Castle is for sale, and it is, but not in the traditional sense.